Hi, I'm Ms. Fung. Let's have a look at functions and modeling. So here we have an example. A gym membership costs $100 to join and $20 a week. Construct a cost function that can be used to determine the cost of different numbers of weeks, then sketch its graph. So we can see that the cost function is dependent on the number of weeks n, and it's $100 plus 20 times the number of weeks. So that is our cost function. We can sketch it. It's a number of weeks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can plug in the number of weeks, 1, figure out what the cost is. 1 times 20 is 20, so it'll be 120 after 1 week. You can put in, for example, 5 times 20 is 100. So after 5 weeks, you're paying 100 plus 100 is 200, etc., etc. So it's very similar to what we've done before. The only difference is now we're calling it a function because it's a function. What is the domain? So we're going from 0 to this graph is infinity. So it's all the numbers, but we don't have numbers in between. So it's all the natural numbers, including 0. And what is the... Oh. And what is the domain? So the domain will be from 0 to positive infinity, but we're not looking at the numbers in between. We're only looking at whole numbers. So in other words, just natural numbers, including 0. Example 2. The following table shows shoes. Oh my God. Example 2. The following table shows the rates for data usage. Sketch a graph of the cost function C, giving its domain and range and the rules to define it. So here we have our cost or our Y values or our vertical axes 30, 50 and 60. And here we have our domains or our X values. Up to 10 means between 0 and up to 10 inclusive. Over 10 to 20 means not 10 but from 10. So not inclusive of 10, up to 20, so includes 20. And then over 20, so not including 20, up to 50 means includes 50. So let's sketch that. So between 0 and 10, we have 30. Then between 10 and 20, we have 50. And between 20 and 50, we have 60. And we have to do our endpoints really carefully. Up to 10 means we can't have 0 because if you don't use any data, you don't pay anything. So that's 0. It's a hollow dot because it's not inclusive, but it does include the 10. So it's a dark dot. Over 10 means that dot there is not inclusive. Up to 20 means that's inclusive. And again, over 20, not inclusive and inclusive. Make sure that you try to sketch this and that you get the dots correct. How would we write it? We would write the function C of n is equal to 30, 50, and 60. So 30, 50, and 60. They're just simple lines with a domain of between 0 to 10, 10 inclusive. And then this one is between 10 and 20, 20 inclusive, and 20 and 50, 50 inclusive. So our domain is 0, not inclusive, all the way to 50. And our range is, well, it's not all the numbers in between, it's just 30, 50, and 60. Last example. Yunuli wishes to fence off a strawberry garden in her backyard. She has 60 meters of fence which she will use for 3 sides of the garden, but an existing wall as a 4th side. Construct a function that will give the area of the enclosure A in terms of length L. So let's draw a diagram. So we have a wall, and then 3 of these sides add up to 16 meters. This is the length over here, so we'll call it L. So therefore, the other 2 sides will be 16 minus L. So the whole thing is 16. This is L, so these 2 sides must be 16 minus L. And one side would be 16 minus L divided by 2. Or in other words, that's 8 minus, 16 over 2 is 8, minus L over 2. And the area would be that times that, so we have L times 8 minus L over 2, but I prefer to write the one with a bigger power first, so I'll write L times L over 2 is L squared over 2, the negative, and then 8 times L is 8L. Now we can take out the half, so then we can clearly see that it's L squared minus 16L, which graphs to be a negative parabola from 0 to 16. And whenever you see L squared minus a number L, or X squared minus a number X, we know that it has two X-intercepts, one at X and one at the other number. Therefore, we can figure out the midpoint or the turning point by finding the middle of those two X-intercepts. So the turning point is always the midpoint of the two X-intercepts. So let's do that. 0 and 16 divided by 2 is 8. And sub in X equals 8 into the original equation, or any of these lines, to find the Y value. And yes, we do get our maximum area of 32. So the maximum area is 32 meters squared, where L is 8. And we can see that the domain is between 0 and 16, exclusive. Make sure you remember that to put round brackets, because you can't have 0 length and you can't have 16 as your other length, otherwise the other one will be 0. Please do note that if it was a four-sided example, then the biggest four-sided shape is, the biggest area for four-sided shape with right angle angles is always a square. So you should have discovered that during year 8 and 9 maths when you're looking at areas, or maybe even younger than that. But if you're not sure, remember that. And it's good to know that, because when you draw a graph, and if it's a four-sided, this is a three-sided example, if it's a four-sided example, your answer should always be giving you a square. That's a trick to check your answers. Okay, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!